Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Hong Kong. Good morning, China. It is my greatest honor to welcome you all to another seminar, this wonderful seminar called Discovering the Mainland China Wine Market via Hong Kong. As you can see, this is the second seminar that we organize in respects to, for many companies from Mexico, Baja California in particular, that are interested in exporting their beverages to China via Hong Kong. And I welcome you all. I want to thank Thomas Wong from CW, Delilah, also my very good friends for many, many years, over like maybe 15 years. I want to thank the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, Ronald and Iris and her team, Keiko also from the wineries in Baja California. And I'm going to pass the word to Laura Nava. She's our president of the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce. She's just going to give some welcoming words, and then I'll come back again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, for attending. This is Laura Nava. I'm happy and honored to be the president of the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce for the next 2 years, working closely with Mainland, who is amazing and organizes these great events. So I'm just here to welcome everybody. Thank you for attending. We have a great panel. We have a lot of information to share, and hopefully you will all find it very interesting, and we're available for any follow-up or anywhere we can help you to accomplish any type of transaction related to this. Wine country in Mexico is a very, Baja California wine country is very, we are very proud of it. It's been developing greatly in the last years, and it's a great asset to our Baja California, many natural resources. So with that, I leave you to Marlene to introduce the panelists, and thank you again for participating, and glad you are here.
Thank you so much, Laura, for such wonderful words. And I'm going to leave this opportunity for my friend Delilah, who will be conducting the rest of the panel and the wonderful speakers that we have. Thank you, Delilah.
Great. Thank you, Marlon. Hello, everyone. I'm Delilah. I'm the Senior Manager at CWCPA. It's a great pleasure for our firm to be a supporting organization for today's event. And we appreciate all the host organizations for putting together this insightful session about the wine market in Hong Kong. From this moment onwards, I'm your MC. I want to start by introducing our guests and our agenda. So we will first receive welcoming remarks from Ms. Iris Wong, Director of Business Development at the Exhibitions and Digital Business Department at Hong Kong Trade Development Council. And we also have Mr. Thomas Wong, partner at CWCPA, to deliver his welcoming remarks too. And then we will have our first presentation will be from Ms. Keiko Nishikawa-Chavez, International Alliance for Provino. She will give us an overview of the Mexican wineries in Baja California. Lastly, our wine market expert, Mr. Ronald Ho, Associate Director of Business Development at Hong Kong TDC, will share with us the landscape of the wine industry in Hong Kong and how to capture the market opportunities in Asia via Hong Kong. Now, without further ado, let us welcome one of our hosts, Iris Wong. Iris is in charge of the business development for over 30 international trade fairs held in Hong Kong, as well as the online platform of Hong Kong TDC. So Iris, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Delilah. Good evening to our friends in America, and good morning to those in Hong Kong. Welcome to the webinar, Discovering the Mainland China Wine Market via Hong Kong. Hong Kong and Mexico have been long-term trading partners over the years, and even under the persisting pandemic, the economic bonding between Hong Kong and Mexico remains strong and robust. In 2020, Mexico was Hong Kong's largest trading partner in Latin America. The average annual growth rate of bilateral merchandise trade from 2016 to 2020 was 2%, reflecting a constantly improving trading relationship between Hong Kong and Mexico over the past years. Hong Kong is an important entry port for merchandise trade between Mexico and mainland China. In 2020, about $6,024 million, representing around 9% of the total trade between Mexico and mainland China, was routed through Hong Kong. To foster in-depth trade and investment relationship, an investment promotion and protection agreement was signed between Hong Kong and Mexico in 2020. The agreement enhances investors' confidence, expands investment flows between the two places, and further strengthens bilateral economic and trade ties. With this agreement coming into force, and the pandemic potentially ending soon, a closer relationship between Hong Kong and Mexico is anticipated in the future. Besides the close economic partnership, Hong Kong is also an essential location for Mexican interests because of its unique advantages in Asia. Long-established trade networks, ubiquitous communications, transportation and logistics infrastructure systems, excellent connectivity with global markets, as well as the availability of world-class professional services have made Hong Kong a recognized global business hub and a strategic location connecting mainland China and the global markets. Against the backdrop of the national development strategies, such as the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area Development, and the Belt and Road Initiative, Hong Kong enjoys many advantages as an international financial, transportation, and trade center, as well as a global aviation hub. Despite the current pandemic challenge, the future of Hong Kong looks brighter because of the unprecedented opportunities offered by the initiatives mentioned just now. And we are confident that the role of Hong Kong in the global business community will be more important than ever. I would like to thank the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce, California Regional Chapter, CWCPA, and Provino Baja, California for having us today and making this webinar possible. I hope this webinar will give you valuable insights into how Hong Kong can be of help to you and bring you new opportunities during this volatile time. Thank you.
Thank you, Iris. Now I would like to invite Mr. Thomas Wong, partner of CWCPA, to make his welcoming remarks. Mr. Wong, your showtime.
Yeah, thank you very much, Delilah. Good morning to all my friends in Hong Kong and good evening to all my friends in LA and Mexico. Buenos dias, desde Hong Kong, and encantado a todos. I speak a little bit Spanish because I'm a CPA in Hong Kong, but my strength is the overseas network, you know, with friends, with many friends in Mexico, with many friends in LA, and that's why, you know, we have this webinar this morning here, you know, with all my friends in Mexico and LA and also in Hong Kong. So what is important is we know that wine, you know, not only, you know, it's from America, not only from Napa Valley, but also is from Baja, California. A lot of people in Hong Kong might not know about this. So that's why we would like to leverage on the TDC platform where they have a sourcing platform in Hong Kong, can be hybrid, can be also physical, you know, so, you know, it provides a very good chance, you know, for the Mexican wine exporters, you know, to display their products, you know, to Hong Kong and also to China as well. So my role is, you know, because I've known TDC for over 30 years, so my role is, you know, is to, you know, a connection, you know, between Hong Kong and LA and Mexico. And we have to think about along a strategy, you know, USA, Mexico, China via Hong Kong along this line. A few years ago, we knew that there was a, you know, NAFTA agreement, but now it's changed a little bit. But still, a lot of people from China would like to go to Mexico via Hong Kong, you know, and that's why this is the strength of the Hong Kong Trade Development Council. Now, today is a platform I would like to once again thank very much Marlon, you know, for organizing this, and thank you, Laura, the new president of the U.S.-Mexican Chamber of Commerce, LA. I would like to see you one day face to face in LA. And thank you, of course, for Provino, you know, so you represent about 75 wine exporters, you know, in your province, Baja, California. So I don't want to say too much, otherwise I'll be connecting and, you know, say a lot of other things, you know, which can spend 30 minutes, you know, without a script. So I leave it now. The time I throw back, you know, the floor back to Delilah, and then Delilah, over back to you, Delilah.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Wong. Well, yeah, many of us in China or even in Asia may associate Mexico with just tacos, tequilas, avocados, but believe it or not, Mexico makes wine too. So now I would like to welcome Ms. Keiko Nishikawa Chavez to give us a historical tour of Mexican wines and how they're becoming more prevalent globally. So Keiko, please go ahead.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning, Hong Kong. Good afternoon, everybody in the American continent. I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm very, very honored to represent the wine industry in Baja California sector. I want to first thank the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, Thomas Wong, president of the CW, and of course, Delilah for helping us so much with everything she's done as of now, and to the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce as well. Thank you very much for opening this important chapter for us. And I want to welcome all my colleagues and people who are representing the wine industry in this webinar. Thank you very much for being here. I want to talk to you a little bit about the wine industry in Baja California, which I think it's as Delilah said, it's known very little about it. Most of the world knows us because of tequila and other drinks that have become popular throughout the years. But each year, Mexico is becoming more and more wine producing country. And as you're gonna see in the next few slides that I'm gonna present, we have become one of the up and coming wine regions in the world. So let me start. So there are 14 wine producing regions in Mexico, and Baja California is the one with a more number of wineries in the country. So we represent about 70% of the wine produced in the country, of the wineries in the country, with 75% of the wine produced there. The reason why Baja California is such a great space for wine producing is because of the temperature, which is a very it's the most important element for the development of the vineyards. So we can say by now that we are in the right latitudes, and on average, the climate of Ensenada records a temperature of about 22 degrees Celsius and is very, very much influenced by the closeness to the ocean. And the closeness to the sea, we're about 11.2 and 15.5 miles from the Pacific Ocean. And Valle de Guadalupe, which is the most known valley, wine producing valley, is really close as well to the ocean. Valle de Santo Tomás and Valle de San Vicente is where most of the grapes are grown. Valle de San Vicente particularly is about 5 kilometers from the ocean. So we get a lot of the moist and a lot of the humidity and the great microclimatic activity for the wine producing, for growing vines. We get most of our water from the recollection of the rain during precipitation months. Irrigation has become a common practice, although we have been very much hit with droughts. Not every year, but maybe every other year, we have been suffering from droughts here and there. I'm sorry. So we have 8 main wine producing or grape producing valleys in Baja California, being one of the most important ones. Well, the most important one, Valle de Guadalupe, that has San Antonio de las Minas, El Porvenir, and Francisco Zarco, which are small towns, and those are northeast of Ensenada City, which is the city that hosts most of the wine producing or grape producing valleys, and the inhabitants of those regions are just about 16,000 people. So the wine industry for us is 260 grape producers in the state. We have 4,270 plant hectares. We have very many more hectares to go, but we have a water shortage, as I told you before. We have 10,500. We create 10,500 direct and indirect jobs in between agriculture, transformation, and wine tourism. And we get up around 850,000 annual visitors. And our economic impact is at around 180 million US dollars. So as I told you before, 70% of the wineries, we represent 70% of the wineries in Mexico, and we represent 75% of the wine production nationwide. So from out of the 170 wine projects that are in Baja California, 77% are small and medium that are around, they're called boutique. They're less than 5,000 annual cases, and the medium ones are less than 50,000 annual cases, and 23% big scale, which are more than 50,000 cases. Valle de Guadalupe has the biggest winery in Mexico, who are producing, I think, more than 1 million cases by now. So our exporting market is still very slow and small. So it's the United States, Canada mainly, Japan most recently, France, Ireland, and England, and Germany. And these are some of the great varietals that we have in our soil. The interesting thing about wine producing in Baja California is that we don't have any stated regulations, which makes us have really big liberty as to the types of wines that we want to do and the types of blends that we want to do. And being as that we're in a Mediterranean weather and soil and many diverse microclimates, the different grapes that grow either on really cold areas or really hot areas, they all have a really unique expression in our Baja California soil. And that's what makes us a very unique wine producing region. In terms of wine tourism, we are a very important wine producing area. So we have many recognitions by now. So we have from Mexico Desconocido magazine, the best tourist product in 2019. We were the second best wine destination in the world by VinePair in 2020. We were the second best wine region in North America by USA Today Reader's Choice, and 10 best as well. And we are the hosts of the largest wine harvest festival in Latin America, with more than 120,000 visitors and an economic impact of more than $40 million. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that event that takes place in August. So these are some of the most important recognitions that we've gotten for our wines, which is we've gotten the best white wine in the Bacchus contest in 2021, and the best wine in the Bacchus contest in Mexico. We have more than 400 medals under our belt, with 2 special awards and 3 wineries revelation in international competitions in 2020 and 2021, such as International Wine Challenge, Mundus Vini, San Francisco International Wine Competition, Challenge International Louvain, Concours Mondial Bruxelles, and the World Wine, among others. And this year is a very unique and a very special year for us, because we're hosting the 43rd World Congress of Vine and Wine, representation of Mexico before 48 member countries of the International Organization of Wine and Vine. So we're very, very excited. We're very, very proud. Some are, there's a big committee coming to Europe this week to receive all the information for this very important Congress that we're going to host this year. So Provino Committee, which is who I'm representing today, is a civil association with 80 wineries and 30 years of experience in promoting the wine culture of Baja California through the production of events such as the traditional harvest festivals, as well as a specialized wine tours, a wine club with deliveries throughout Mexico, and educational initiatives that involve other regional and nationwide sectors. So the Harvest Festival, Provino is the owner of the trademark rights Fiestas de la Vendimia in Ensenada. It's an event that it's 25-day celebration in August, gathering the most important wineries of the region, international chefs, celebrities, and wine lovers in various experiences. The Harvest Festival program includes pairing, dinners, concerts, wine tours, special wine tastings, among other activities in participating wineries. So some of the evolution of our events and everything that we do, we started in 1990 with only 6 wineries with 2 events for an audience of 300 people. And the last year we could do it before the pandemic, we had 62 wineries with 28 events with more than 120,000 people coming throughout those 25 days to Baja California with an economic impact of more than $40 million. So as you can see, Baja California and the wine industry here, we are an up and coming and in development industry. I represent also the first winery in Baja California, that is Bodegas de Santo Tomás, which has 134 years of history in Baja California, which is it's astonishing if you think that this year, this last weekend, it was the 140th anniversary of the city. So there's only 6 years in difference between when the wine industry started in Baja California and the actual city got founded. So I truly believe that in the last 30 years, the wine industry in Baja California has blown up and it has become more and more a signature beverage for the Mexican people and the Mexican household. And we are very interested in opening our markets and getting to most of the or every inch of the world by getting to know Mexico through its wines. And I know that one of the concerns of my fellow colleagues is that we don't produce enough wine to try to get in the Chinese market. So I would be very pleased if you could tell us a way that we could work together for you to be interested in having Mexican and specifically Baja California wine in China. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for this invitation and for giving us the opportunity to present what we do and who we are.
Thank you.
Thank you, Delilah.
Thank you, Keiko. Thank you. Now let's enter into the highlight of the session. Let's welcome our wine market expert, Mr. Ronald Ho, to make a more in-depth presentation about Hong Kong's wine industry. And he will also tell you how to find your ideal partners through various Hong Kong TDC services. So Ronald, please go ahead.
Thank you, Delilah. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening in the LA Times and good morning in Hong Kong. Thank you so much for joining us today. And my name is Ronald Ho. It is my great honor to work with the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce, California Regional Chapter, and Provino, Baja, California, and also CWCPA to have this seminar today about how to use Hong Kong platform for your export business to the Asia. My job in Hong Kong is mainly organizing industry-specific international trade fair, including jewelry, watch and clock, food and wine, gift premium, handcraft, and as well as other lightings and medical equipments and supplies. We are not only, because in Hong Kong, we are very famous for doing sourcing fair, that factories and suppliers in Asia will meet up with international buyers. But we have also a number of very brand name focused trade fair that mainly help overseas brand name owners and exporters to reach out to regional importers and dealers in Asia, particularly mainland China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and also other Asian countries. In normal years, many overseas exhibitors will come to join us to look for new partners in the region. Today, I will share with you how Hong Kong TDC can connect you with the market players of the mainland China, Asia, and other economies in this region in one stop, and why Hong Kong itself is a market for you that you cannot miss. To begin with, let me share the wine industry landscape of Hong Kong in 2021 with you, which both import and export of Hong Kong is recovering from the hard hit of COVID-19 pandemic since 2020. Next. Under the pandemic situation, as expected, many wine imports into Asia is not looking good last year. For example, mainland China was just 1.7 billion US dollar, down 7.4% from last year. However, the import of wine into Hong Kong in 2021 has increased significantly by 41%, reaching 1.36 billion US dollar. The import of spirit, high alcohol beverage, was also increased by 5.3%, reaching almost $500 million US dollar. We are not intent here to compare both markets, given the huge population difference. But Hong Kong last year import almost 80% of that of China, with a population less than 0.5% of the whole China. You may assume Hong Kong set as a tax-free buffer for the big markets in Asia, allowing more flexibility and timing for the importer to work around the emergency situation under the influence of the pandemics in this region. Not only Hong Kong possessed a large import volume last year, our market also welcomed wine with much higher value. According to the report of a French economics daily, Les Echos, the average price of a bottle of Bordeaux wine was higher at 35 euros. Then that was in the mainland China was only 6 euro per bottle. Next, please. Besides the vast import value, the market also welcomed a large variety of wine from overseas. In 2021, there were about 75% of wine from the old world wine producing regions, and about 25% from the new world. French is still our top wine producing region, and about 25% are from the new, and then the rest are from the new world. Sorry, and while Australia comes second, and the rest are broadly scattered from US, Italy to Chile, and also South Africa. Next, please. On top of the wine scene, We also import a large amount of beer and spirits from many other countries like mainland China, Japan, South Korea, and not to be missed, the famous tequila and Corona beer from Mexico. We, as always, welcome different culture of drinking with their authentic cuisines. Next. Meanwhile, the wine re-export of Hong Kong was also performed remarkably well in 2021, with an annual increase of 77%, reaching 204 million US dollars. The re-export of spirit was also decent, with an annual increase of 38%, reaching 412 million US dollars. There is about 1/3 of these re-export are to mainland China. The another 1/3 to Macau. It's a small city where all our international casinos are operating, and they attract a lot of regional, tourists to go to the place to enjoy the holiday and also have a nice banquet and also drink as much as they can. And also, lastly, about 7% is export to Taiwan. Next. Hong Kong wine industry prevailed in 2021 is not only a coincidence, but because of our major pillars of this industry. They are namely the zero tax policy, the strong connectivity with mainland China, the comprehensive and well-established ecosystem, and the strong local consumption market with unique internationalized lifestyle. Next, please. Hong Kong government was committed to be one of the world's best wine trading hub. So it bravely removed all its import tax and custom duties from 80% before to 0 for wine product of alcoholic level less than 30%. Since 2008. The low tax and simplified import procedure make the local wine activities more vivid. Since then, we have found a drastic increase of number of wholesalers by 165% from 2008 to 2019. And the specialized wine retailer will also increase by 230%. In fact, many of the international wine producing company and also the marketing company, they have to set up a branch in Hong Kong in order to cover the whole region, very vibrant and expanding region for the business. Next. Secondly, we have a very strong connectivity with mainland China. No matter there's still border control for passenger under COVID the last 2 years, our trade is still operating as normal, almost normal. Besides, after returning to mainland China since 1997, Hong Kong has worked out many economic partnership arrangements with the mainland government, including the famous CEPA, the Closer Economic Partnership Arrangement, which enhancing the trade relationship across the borders. For example, for a registered Hong Kong distributor, they can enjoy a faster and easier custom clearance in almost every port of the country, especially those located nearby Hong Kong in the Great Bay Area, GBA, that Iris had just mentioned. Someone may be interested to know more about what is GBA for Hong Kong. It was a new concept initiated by the central government in 2017, comprising 2 special administrative regions of Hong Kong and Macau, and also 9 the wealthiest municipalities of Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Zhuhai, Foshan, Huizhou, Dongguan, Zhongshan, Jiangmen, and also the Zhaoqing of the Guangdong province. The GBA area has a combined population of 86 million, and the GDP in 2020 is roughly 1,669 billion US dollar. Hong Kong as an international finance, transportation, and trade hub for the region We have shared the same cultural background, the Cantonese language, the similar pop culture, and also the same feeling of the hometown. Many of our business invest in manufacturing facility in GBA area and work together with the local community to get things rich in the last several decades. That the ties between the Hong Kong business with the GBA area is so huge. And then we have worked out almost every aspect of the obstacle between trade between the two regions and over the years. So it will be very helpful system, and for those importer and for those exporter from overseas, when they want to try to entering China, especially the richest, the wealthiest GBA area, Hong Kong is the choice to think of. With a long history, sorry, next please. Okay. With a long history of where Hong Kong, yes, next, okay. Sorry, it's a little technical issue here. I can't, my computer is not following with the slides. Okay. With a long history of where East Midwest, Hong Kong has adopted a well-established wine ecosystem that enable you to enter the Asian market with the help of the world-class wine logistic, transportation, and storage facility under professional management. One example is Hong Kong has developed its first official wine management certification in the world by the Hong Kong QAA, we call it Hong Kong Quality Assurance Agency, in 2009. Assessed by independent and professional board, qualified facilities should have strict control over temperature, humidity, lights, vibration, hygiene, and many other factors that along the supply chains. Currently, there are 43 facilities being awarded this certification in Hong Kong. Besides the infrastructure, the wine merchants have been established for years, very extensive network and supply chain in the Chinese mainland. World-famous companies like CN Logistics, Kerry Logistics, and Watson's Wine are some of the best distributors in this region with strong network in China, and they are ready to work with you. Last but not least, our strong tourism plus world-famous catering business that make us the gourmet paradise is also well supported by the thriving wine market. With more than 16,900 restaurants in Hong Kong, we share a unique dining culture for true internationalized lifestyle. Famous Mexican restaurants such as Caliente, El Macho, and Tequila Macho are all very popular, which not only a decent business itself, but also a natural promoter of Mexican drinking and culinary cultures. Moreover, we love to pair wine with all kinds of cuisine. I think it will be very exciting to try to pair up Mexican wine from authentic Mexican food to other Western dishes, and even with traditional Chinese gourmet feasts. Next, please. To round up the above, we have strong culture that welcome and support new business to join in our lucrative local and GBA market. And we have world-class infrastructure and hardware to support your business development. And we have profound knowledge and wide talent to give you practical ideas and suggestions. And Hong Kong TDC is always with you to help finding your right partner in mainland China and Asia. Out of so many we have discussed, I suggest you can start to understand the business place from Hong Kong TDC first. And next, please. Hong Kong TDC is a statutory organization established in 1966 by the government to promote, assist, and develop Hong Kong's trade with 50 offices globally, including 13 in the mainland China. We promote Hong Kong as a two-way global investment and business hub. We organize international exhibitions, conferences, business mission to create business opportunity for SME, and at the same time promote Hong Kong products and services to the world. In normal year, in 2019, we organized more than 30 exhibitions, drawing more than 39,000 exhibitors from worldwide, and also 722,000 international buyers come to Hong Kong every year to visit this trade fair. Hong Kong TDC, Hong Kong TDC International Wine and Spirit Fair is one of the most important events for the Asian wine industry, a one-stop event to assess Hong Kong, mainland, and also the Asian market as a whole. This year, the fair scheduled from November 10 to 13 is its 14th edition. There are 6 reasons why you should consider taking part in our wine fair. First and foremost is the significant growth of the Hong Kong market we just mentioned in the previous slides. Next. The second reason is our quality buyers. In our last edition in 2019, the fair attracted more than 15,000 professional buyers from 70 countries and regions, from local catering merchandisers and distributors, from importers from mainland China, Asian market, and also buyers from Europe, America, and the Middle East. About a few big names attended us in that year, was recruited by our 50 overseas offices. Next, please. The first 2 days of the event will be welcoming industry players only, while the general consumer and wine lovers will be entertained on the 3rd day with a lot of educational events and workshops. What is more attractive is the special subsidy offered by the Hong Kong SAR government under this pandemic years, is to attract overseas exhibitors for returning to Hong Kong after all this pandemic control is settled. Each company exhibiting in our fair will be offered a discount of Hong Kong $10,000. It's about $1,300 US for each a 9 square meter booth, up to 10 booths. That means if you are big, you have a bigger promotional objective, you can rent up to 10 booths and then get the 100,000 Hong Kong dollar subsidy from the Hong Kong government. In light of the easing pandemic situation, Hong Kong is getting back to normality very soon. While we are still preparing the fair to be open to the world again in November, some exhibitors may still need flexible format of participation to reach out to overseas buyers through hybrid model and more cost-effective participant package. If they are still not able to come to Hong Kong physically by then Hong Kong TDC proudly presented our new Exhibition Plus hybrid package to all of our trade fair events since the April of this year. Next, please. Joining the fair physically is the most favorable arrangement for everyone. Face-to-face connection is the most important with buyers who visited the fair. Picture from the left are the custom-made pavilion booth for more resourceful group pavilion. Or you can consider those budget stand at the right is more suitable for smaller winery who join as a group. Next, please. It can also turn into a remote participation option to save long-haul traveling. It's quite costly after the pandemic to book a long-haul flight, and also the hotel cost is quite high. But we can line up with Hong Kong wine professionals and association representatives to attend the fair on your behalf. Representatives are qualified person to help you setting up booth, introduce your wine to visitor, handle on-site inquiries, serve wine for tasting, and also arrange online meeting with you. Examples is the top is a premium showcase for 12 wineries, and below is the simpler tasting table version for only 6 wineries. For those representatives, we are recommending a wine professional with reputable local wine school and also wine trade association. Their service are described above, from how to study your product profile and also your winery history, and also they help you to collect the exhibit, decorate the booth, start the business discussion, pack the exhibit and for moving out, and also a final meeting report will be given to all the exhibitor behind. And that lists out the price for 2 of these supplier that Hong Kong TDC is worked with for years, and you are free to choice. And we are looking for others provider to see if you have other needs that you can consider when you are joining this event. Yes, you can those representative. Sorry. Click to match service is empowered by AI engine to recommend online registered buyer to exhibitor according to their sourcing needs and online footprints. This is a new system developed by Hong Kong TDC. Sorry. An online exhibitor can upload the profile with photos, videos, award, certificate, etc., to improve the exposure in online. And at the same time, exhibitor can proactively searching for buyers, schedule appointment, and also conduct online meetings. Yes. To extend the exposure, exhibitor profile and information will be kept at the hongkongtdc.com sourcing portal for 2 more months. This portal has 2 million registered buyers and making more than 24 million connections every year. The above is all of my presentation today. I thank you for your patience and hope to see you soon in Hong Kong. Thank you, Gila. Back to you.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you. Right. Yeah, I want to follow up on a couple of questions with you, Ronald, if you don't mind, since your presentation is our main highlight. I think our first question is about the Greater Bay Area. In recent years, there have been a lot of discussions about the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area in terms of investments and trade. How do you see the development of the Greater Bay Area in terms of trading of wine? What business opportunities are there?
Okay, thank you. Actually, we have just discussed about the population and also the size of the economy of the Great Bay Area, and this is not a new thing to Hong Kong because we have been working there for decades, building a factory, doing the international trade, and also the logistic is improving every year, and that makes it a very important region for the economy of the whole China, mainland China. But the wine culture itself is changing, it's developing recently, especially amongst those young working forces in this region. Also, the Great Bay Area is not only about mainland China, it's including the Hong Kong and Macau as well, as just mentioned. With a lot of entertainment, they have a lot of vibrant city and modern life. That will be a market that the wine consumption is significant, and then we cannot miss. And most importantly, Hong Kong in this region, we are kind of a role model that we introduce a lot of foreign cuisine and also the culture of consuming wine, and they will be very quickly translate into a new new habits of using these wine products in this region. And that's why we think the GBA market, the opportunities is enormous and cannot be missed.
Oh, thank you. And well, everyone know that you know, since the pandemic,
Okay.
and we know company.
Sorry, I just can't hear you. Can you repeat?
Oh,
We're
Can you hear me
losing
now?
you, Delilah. Yes, we can hear you now.
yes, yes. I was commenting that these 2 years, the travel restriction in Hong Kong have slowed down. I mean, in everywhere else in the world also, they have slowed down the international trade, and many companies have suffered as a result. Do you still see Hong Kong in this case as the global trading hub, especially for wine?
Yeah, actually, we share the pain as everyone else in the world that the pandemic hard hit our economy, and most importantly is through the international travel restrictions that make the business traveler very inconvenienced to do things, you know, together for any new opportunities. That's why, as mentioned by Iris before, the TDC is devoting a lot of resource into building up our hybrid trade fair models with a lot of investment into the IT infrastructure to make sure that our business, our exporters, our buyers can, you know, still connect with each other without physical, you know, seeing each other. But it's getting improved day by day. You know, actually, the day after tomorrow will be a very significant turning point for Hong Kong, because after tomorrow, all the restaurants can extend the service hours to midnight, and bar and pubs in Hong Kong can be reopened. Clubhouse, nightclub, karaoke's, and also the party rooms are allowed to reopen in Hong Kong. That's very good news for the Hong Kong wine merchants. And a lot of friends in this industry just calling me, I'm so busy nowadays because we have to restock these outlets. And then they are expecting a business rebound very soon. So as mentioned, that we are now, you know, still a little inconvenience in getting to Hong Kong, but the whole thing will be getting better this summer. And we expected the trade with the help of the technology nowadays, that won't be any problem, just like our webinar today.
Well, hopefully by the time of the wine fair, business can travel. So I want to also touch upon the government, the subsidy that you just mentioned in your previous slide. You mentioned that if companies attend the exhibition physically, they get a certain amount of the participation fee subsidized by the government. Is it also applicable to overseas companies? Do they have to set up a Hong Kong company?
Not really. Actually, there's quite a number of different subsidies provided by government in support all kinds of business in Hong Kong. For this special convention and exhibition subsidy, it mainly targeting to all companies from all over the world to joining Hong Kong events, especially organized by the Hong Kong TDC. It is more, you know, reputable and also more effective from the government point of view. So every company joining us will be have a subsidy up to 50% of the participant fee, and capped at about, as I mentioned, is $1,282 US for a nice per nice square meters. So a company, if they're big enough, they can hire up to 10 booths to this 90 square meter to display the product when they're joining the Hong Kong TDC's events.
That's great. And I want to come back to the online platform a little bit. Some people are more concerned about the quality of the online platform and virtual exhibitions, because compared to physical exhibitions where you can deal with potential buyers face to face, some people are concerned about whether these online platforms are effective enough. So can you share with us how Hong Kong TDC addresses their concerns?
Okay, actually, we are doing a lot of trying and testing since 2020, when our last large-scale international event in January 2020, the international toy fairs was finished, and then we are not able to do this. We are not able to do physical events for some months, and hybrid model has a bad name outside, because many exhibitors, they feel it very uncomfortable in the situation to talk to someone else, especially your buyers from overseas, on how to present your company, how to present your products on the screens. It's a very difficult things for them, and also they are lacking of support from the system. During the pandemic times, many staff was working at home, so sometimes they cannot technically solve the problem to discuss with the buyers in the through the online system, and then they were very embarrassing in most of the case. There's something is not working, the mic, the camera, or also how to present your sample is difficult. So we have been trying to do these kind of online events with the support of the government, of course. And since from the 2020 and 2021, we have organized 4 virtual exhibitions with more than 5,600 exhibitors, and also more than 63,000 international buyers. And after all, we have been complete more than 21,000 virtual meetings, where the exhibitors can meet with the buyers online. We find a lot of very positive feedback. Back from then, we have been working on a third-party service provider. They integrate their system into our database. That make a lot of difficulties when we are doing the wheel matching. But after this year, we have launched our own online platform. That means all our events, the last decades of database, can be fully poured into this new system, that exhibitors can really pick their own buyers, the favorite buyers, and then knock on the door online to see if they can arrange a meeting. That means even comparing to the physical time, some exhibitors may not see everyone coming to the fair, but in the online event, we can proactively, looking for buyers that register in the fair. So there's something different, and also the experience is getting more and more, better when the training for your staff is getting in place. When people are knowing more about how to present them in terms of making product videos, in terms of putting all these documents, certificate online, and then the buyers, they can serve your information well ahead of the meetings. That make them have a better understanding of where you come from, what are you doing, before they're actually talking to you. That thing need a lot of training from both sides. That's why we are doing this investment in not only the infrastructure, and then also the time, the training with the business community together. So we encourage company, especially the SME, you don't have so much resource to travel everywhere to meet your buyers. So that's the online platform is the way to go forward in the new era after the pandemic.
Great.
Delilah, if I may, I want to say something, Delilah. Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead, Mr. Wong.
Yes. I can see that there are a lot of questions, about the wine industry for China as well as for Hong Kong. My point is to inform everyone who are still, with this webinar, that the wine industry in Hong Kong actually is booming. especially after that we cancel the import tax, from 80% now to 0. Okay. And then secondly, as Ronald just now mentioned about the importance of the Greater Bay Area, and with the presence of TDC, Trade Development Council, in the Greater Bay Area, there I see a lot of business opportunities for the Mexican wine, red wine. Because as a drinker, for me, myself, 15 years ago, I knew only about Mouton Cadet. I don't know anything about Mexican red wine, all right? At that time, of course, I knew about tequila. But now I know more about Chile red wine. But Mexican red wine, it's still, not so many people know about its quality as well as the pricing. So I think today, this webinar provides a very good platform for the Mexican wine exporters pertaining to Provino to know more about Hong Kong Trade Development Council, to know more about my firm, that how we can leverage on the Hong Kong Trade Development Council wine exhibition fair, physical one, as well as the hybrid mode, so as to export your Mexican wine, to China via Hong Kong, and where the Greater Bay Area right now, even though it's only 86 million people, but we have two big cities, Shenzhen and Guangzhou, and where this Greater Bay Area, only 86 million people, but already represent about 12% of the GDP of the whole of China. So I think this is a very good chance, for the Mexican wine to develop a strategy, all right, via Hong Kong to China through Hong Kong Trade Development Council, and of course through me, okay? And that's all what I want to say. Ronald, if you want, you can add something so that Laura, the president of the U.S. Mexican Chamber of Commerce, and Kiko of the Provino, they can share, also supplement to your point. Okay, Ronald?
No, nothing. It's okay. Thanks.
Okay, all right. Laura, you want? You want to say something for your U.S. Mexico Chamber?
Well, on behalf of the U.S. Mexico Chamber of Commerce, just a thank you for your amazing presentation and all the information, and hopes that this opportunity is used by all parties involved, and we have many ways of sharing our magnificent wine. So thank you.
Yes, Kiko, sorry, it seems that now I'm the moderator, not Delilah. Sorry, I stole her show. I stole away her job.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak again, and to thank you so much for all the information that we got today. It's very valuable to see how we can open the Chinese market for Mexican wine. So thank you very much for your time.
That's all from me, Delilah. Back to you. Sorry that I stole away your duty.
No problem. Yeah, so thank you very much for your time, to all the participants who are still with us. If you still have more specific questions or would like to reach out to Hong Kong TDC, please just drop your contact information in the chat. We will reach out to you. I just now also left my contact details so that you can copy and paste and reach out to me afterwards. Finally, I would just like to thank all the speakers, Marlon and Laura from the U.S. Mexican Chamber of Commerce, Iris and Ronald, Anissa, Harry from the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, Mr. Wong from CWCPA, and Keiko from Provino, Baja, California. My name is Delilah Lee. Thank you once again, and see you next time.